All right, we're gonna do take two on this one. It's been a while since we've been kicked off the internet here, and my neighbor has decided to power wash the back porch, which is just amazing. I don't know if you can hear that. If you can, and I listen back to this and it just sounds like someone's power washing their backyard, then I'll delete it unless you want me to keep it for some ASMR purposes. So we'll give it a minute here and let you guys trickle in. I don't even know when the internet cut off. I think I was talking about how the Pegasus Plus was my line in the sand shoe. Oh, we're back. Pano says we're back. Kuvang said he's trickled in. Well, thank. Oh, so many jokes. It's like a softball right there, and we're gonna let it pass, and then the ump's gonna call a ball. And it's like it's right there, right? And I remember being in a meeting one time, and let me know if you can hear the power washer in the back. Maybe that'll be soothing and put some people to sleep if my voice wasn't already doing it. I was in a meeting one time and there were two guys. Someone said something about not being able to hear. And these two dads both at the same time said, "What?" And I jumped all over it. And I said, you see, that's the difference. That's the difference between me and them. I saw it. I saw it. I saw that softball coming right there and I took it and I just let it go. Ball, not a strike. We don't swing at that one. Okay. We have standards. We have standards. Okay. There's a difference. All right. Philip Watts is in here. He says the heat exhaustion, it got to the internet. It did. But it's not the heat, Philip. It's the humidity. Not too good for that joke. The very obvious heat and humidity joke. Okay. I was talking about, I don't know where the internet cut off. The internet had enough of my bullshit. I don't know when it cut me off. I don't know if you guys could tell me the last thing you heard, and I'll try to jump in on the next sentence and we'll see what's happening. But I think I was talking about the Pegasus Plus. And I was talking about how it was the line in the sand shoe for me. And that was the shoe that I was determined that I would no longer, I have enough shoes. And then someone just kept lowering the bar for me, like $10 cheaper, $10 cheaper, $10. I had to buy it. I had to. There was no more choice. There was no more walking away. I was accidentally walking away. And then what I said was my dad, he was really good at that. So we would go into car dealerships after my first year of college, we're looking for a car, right? And then I was surprised we even ever got into the place because he was walking out the entire time. We never even got it. I was like, Dad, we haven't even seen a guy. We haven't talked to him. We haven't even looked at the cars. You can't even walk away yet. There's no deal on the table. But he didn't give me any of that. He just gave me his wit and his chin. The chin's for my mom actually. But I was like, Dad, we got to go in and talk. So, but anyway, I didn't get any of that, and my wife doesn't have any of that either. So we were getting sold some package one time. Someone was trying to sell us a package. And I'm like, this sucks because me and my wife, we don't have the walk away thing. That's not in our blood. So I start kicking her. We got to go, right? We got to go. We got to get out of this situation. And she's like, ow. Why are you kicking me? You know what I mean? She didn't get it. I was like, normally we're like that. We're in sync. I think about it. I'm like, who is that? And she's like, Kevin Spacey. And the other, no, that's Paul Giamatti. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't even say a sentence. She knows the sentence I was going to ask. She knows who in reference it was to. And she has the answer. But I'm kicking her to get out of the situation. And so we got to go. This is not, it's not happening. And we're sucker. We buy it. We are the ones that convert to Mormons. We are the one. You come to the Jehovah Witness. You knock on our door. We're being baptized. The Pegasus Plus. That's a big story. But we bought it. I bought it. I finally bought it. Now I want to talk about it. Okay. It reminds me of the Nova Blast 1. Follow me on this one. I know it's a reimagined Peg Turbo 2. I love the Pegasus Turbo 2. I'm not as fond of it as other people. People get really romantic about it, but they really they gush over it, and I wish they would bring that back. And I do that. I do that for the Nova Blast 1. I do that for the SC Trainer. I am always in search. You want to sell me on a shoe? If you're a shoe company, you tell me it's like the SC Trainer version 1. I'm going to buy it, right? That's why I bought the Skyward X. That's why I bought the Neo Vista, okay? Because I wanted it, okay? Remind me. I'm going to come back on the Neo Vista because I have a few things to say about that. But anyway, the Pegasus Plus. It's a sleeper shoe. Now, I know it's that people don't like it and they don't want it as much as other shoes. Maybe it didn't meet their expectation because this shoe and the Primex Strung 2 are the two shoes that I see the most on the Supple app going for resale. People are just trying to, and not for a lot of money. That's why I was like, oh, okay. And it's always available and it's always on discount, but it's the 10 millimeter drop. Guys, there's a 10 drop. Bring that drop back. I love me an occasional 10 millimeter drop because when I land midfoot, it feels like somebody is pushing me forward. Yes, Asics had the decoupled groove, but this doesn't have a deep coupled groove in the Pegasus. No trampoline effect on the shoe, but it's old school. I like ground contact. I like for my toes and feet to be able to somewhat feel the ground. And this shoe is great. It's crisp. I do not think I would want to do threshold workouts in it. I can. Same thing with the Evo SL. I can, but I don't prefer it. I prefer the Zoom Fly 6. I prefer other shoes that are in that category before I prefer this shoe. But the Pegasus Plus, I can go easy. I can go like everyday paces, but I'm encouraged to rip. Okay. And so like some shoes, they're cruisers and that's what they do. They're Cadillacs. The Neo Vista 2 is soft. Okay. Last year, the Glycerin Max was like the recovery shoe of the year. And I've got 275 miles in it. And I love that shoe. Now I will say that shoe is comfortable. The Mizuno Neo Vista 2 is a boat. It's big. It's soft. It's pillowy. It's welcomed. It is comfortable, but it's also very soft. Okay. I did take the Neo Vista 2 through some steezy miles, but the category of shoe that I would put it in is the Max cushion, not like the Mad Max, not the Bouncy Max, not the Skyward X, not the SC Trainer, not the Nike Invincible 1, not the Puma Mag Max, not the super bouncy shoes, the more soft shoes. That's the kind of shoe that's more for recovery. The Peg Plus is, I guess you would call it a zone 3 banger, right? It's in that kind of category where it's pushing me forward on my easy days, but not as aggressive as the Evo SL, because the Evo SL has such an aggressive geometry that you're getting pushed forward no matter what. There's a little bit more control in the Pegasus Plus. Now, the Nova Blast 1, what I really liked was I put over 450 miles in the first shoe. I probably have close to 200 miles in the second shoe. I still have a shoe just so I can remember, right? Now, the Nova Blast 1 was unstable, okay? Like a lot of people, the heel collar area like cut into their Achilles. There wasn't a whole lot of padding. Their foot was sliding around, right? I got a good lockdown. I did get some lace bite on the shoe. So, but when I ran in the Peg Plus, it really, no shoe has reminded me of the Nova Blast 1 since this shoe was the first one to remind me of that shoe, but it's more dialed. It's a better fit. It's more supportive. I feel like this is what I think I put on Strava. This is what I wanted the Nova Blast 2 to be. This is what I was hoping for. instead of whatever the Nova Blast 2 became. So anyway, yeah. So I'm going to say it's a sleeper just because I think it's going to get kind of overlooked and people weren't raving about it. But I love the shoe, but it is going to go into my sort of daily shoe category, just like a daily trainer. But if I'm feeling good on a daily trainer day and I want to rip it, then I can. Or pick it up and run steezy, I can. So I'm going to say that. All right. Kuvang says, AP, I can't tell if it's warmer conditions combined with the humidity or no direction until javelina block starts. But any running funk, hard to get my burst phase going. Gotta throw me some tips. Okay. Here's the deal with summer running. Here, I've got race tips and I've got 4 guys running a 10K on July 4th. True patriots of the running community. They just want to dial up the suffering, and so they're going for it. The approach to the race. So heat, humidity is going to impact your running. So how would you can just pick a pace that's 15 to 30 seconds off of where you're going. But if you still want to be true to the effort, I think it's really good to pick one race slower and go at that effort. So last year in the summer, I ran a 10K and I was like, okay, 6.25 miles of tempo. I watched the Steven Scolian video. Can I run 10K pretty hard? Foam rolling. I can't do it. But he is Martin. He called it like instead of Morton, he says Martin. Anyway, love his channel, love it. Anyway, go out one octave slower, one notch slower, 1 gear slower. So if I was going to run a 5K, maybe I'd go what VDOT says I could do at a 10K and then just go off that effort. First one may feel like a 10K. Second one definitely going to feel like a 5K. Last one is I'm already done. I'm miserable. And I don't even know if I can finish because it's the heat and humidity. What I learned today is that I need to build in more interval time between or rest between the intervals to accommodate for the attrition of the heat and the humidity because it sucks. And what's important when you're bursting is that you are in good form and you are in control. And if you need an extra minute in order to rebound, that's good. It doesn't have to be starving you for oxygen. And there are some workouts that aren't VO2 max that are fast that build your running economy. So for the burst phase, whether it's a hill that's not too steep or something that's fartlicky, like I wouldn't do HIIT with like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, because then you wouldn't have enough recovery time and you would just feel miserable and it would be discouraging. So I will say it's start before the sun comes up, right? Have a plan, but keep the interval lengths short. If it's time-based, like a minute or 2 minutes. If it's at the track, 100, 200, 300, max 400, just for bursting, right? Like, because it sucks. And the summer is a lie. The summer is just one gigantic propaganda machine. It's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. Okay. I was watching this video. The algorithm threw me a female runner from Florida who ran a sub-3 in Chicago and qualified for Boston. And she said her paces as she trained through the summer were 7:17 a mile. And then she ran Chicago at 6:48 a mile. So if I'm doing my math correctly, that's almost 30 seconds a mile slower in the summer. It's a lie. Okay. I ran that 10K in 39:01. I got online last year. I got online. Macmillan calculator says I could run a 36:08, and I have a hard time believing that, but that would be 30 seconds a mile. Heat is real. Humidity is real. It's science. Forget the paces. Your body knows effort. Just burst. If you look at all your paces and you're like, oh, I should be able to, you're only going to get discouraged. It's a lie. It's a bunch of nonsense. Okay. So summer survival, speed, burst, short bursts. Obviously, unless you're running a 5K and you're like, I've got this 5K lined up and I got to do a lot of 5K work to travel, you know what I mean? In anticipation for being race specific. By the way, guys, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. There's a guy named Titus at the track when I was running, and he was 18 years old, and he had the vest on, and he was doing his drive phase, and he was, and I was going around. I met this other guy, Sean. Sean's a Ironman. He ran a 10:01, and I don't know what that means. And he's like, that'd be equivalent of running like 3 hours and 1 minute. So Kuvang knows, he got the 3. He got the 3. This guy didn't. This guy got the 10:01. He didn't get the 10. But he's out there with the sun, and he was just getting his running in. And I switched from the sustained marathon effort. I'm not running a marathon until January anyway. And so I just did some bursting and shoe testing for the shoe. I did different intervals, different paces for the Metaspeed Edge, Metaspeed Sky Pairs. Then this guy, Titus, he says, he's shirtless, stud. He's like, Jack, 18-year-old in his prime. He goes, you want to race? I don't care. I don't. I'm too old to do anything, guys. I'm too old to be right all the time. I don't care. I can be wrong. If I lose, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I lose to some kid at a track. I've got nothing to prove. I'm like, okay. And I'm already finished my last rep. So I'm like, nah, and then I'm like, but it could help this guy, right? Maybe I could be his chase car, like he's his rabbit, and he could chase me for the first 5 meters or something. He goes, I'll give you a 10-meter head start. And I was like, okay, because he asked me when I run. I was like, you mean like a sub 3? And then he's like 10:4. And I was like, 100 meter. Sprinting. I don't speak sprint. I don't know sprint. So I was like, okay, but he's like, so he walked me through it. He goes, look, this is these markers on the track mean this. I'll let you start right here. You can start 10 meters. And then, we'll count it. I was like, hey, if it makes you faster, bro, he's trying to make the Olympics in 4 years. So let's go for it. And I have never run faster in my life. He didn't catch me. But I didn't start my watch because I was like, whatever, I'm just going to go 100 meters, right? I was like, it's so different when you're racing against somebody or somebody is like chasing you or you're running from somebody. And I was like, wow, like that was definitely, because normally I think I can hit like a 15. And I was like, that was faster than 15 for sure, and the Sky Paris performed amazing, but I'm going to give that guy my Dragonfly. He's a size 9. So I'm going to give him some of my spikes that I'm never going to wear again. So anyway, Chas is in here. What's up? Late to the party. What's up, Andrew? Gave you a shout out earlier, man. I love everything you've been doing on the channel. I really like the Insta 360 recap of the race. Chas just ran 5K, 400 meter. Did you do like a mile? 800 meter, I think, right? 64 seconds in a 400. I think I did an all-out 400 a couple years ago on 67. I can't remember. And the Chikumi Sen 8s when they first came out. So fast, man. But it's really cool. Sam says, lesson learned in the heat. You warned me, and I totally failed to incorporate your advice in my half marathon race 2 weeks ago in 80 plus degrees. Heat stress is exponential. It's so true. Sam, it only gets worse. I wouldn't even touch a half marathon in the summer. I mean, that's brutal because the longer you're out there, it's exponential. It just like it gets worse. There's no coming down from it. Like the most I would do is a 10K. Ugh. And I'm assuming like I coach guys that are in Detroit, that are in Boston, that are up north and New York. And they were showing me the weather there. And I was like, that's worse than San Antonio. I didn't know it got that bad up there, guys. Like in my head, summer is always a little warm, but it's okay. Like you know what I mean? It's not the same as the South. Sam said, I was very much 20 to 30 seconds slower per mile for each 5 degrees above 60 during that race. Yeah, no, that it's about survival at that point, I think. And then, yes, you do get the adaptations, but it's still miserable and it sucks. And I think the adaptations only last for a few weeks. So unless you're going straight into a race into cooler temps, like a lot of people will, if they're running Chicago, if you're coming from a warmer climate and then you go to Chicago, and Chicago's usually pretty good weather, then you should be fine. You'll have that transition. Otherwise, if it's already cooled down, you might need to put on a sweater for a week or two. So Chaz says, yeah, 1 mile, the 400, the 800, the 100, and the 5K. So, and I've never done a 5K in like a cross country 5K. Seems like it would be really fun as well. So, anyway, all right. So we cut this bad boy up into 2 things today, and then so this will be part 2. If you're just checking this out, there is a part 1. You should go check it out. It's about 30 minutes. This one's about 20 minutes. I haven't made any videos for the channel. I don't know when I'm going to. I always contemplate like going to make a short, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about the shoe. I'm just going to talk about the shoe during the live stream or whatever. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I got work calling. So, guys, thank you for stopping in today. And then if you're listening to this later and not live, I appreciate you listening to all of the ramblings and the mumblings and the ticks and the unconscious smacking. Please forgive me. You guys have a good day.